abuse, and advocates and families say there's a culture where incidents are covered up. After a Senate inquiry heard tale after tale of abuse in group homes, there were hopes this election campaign might draw attention to its recommendations, including a call for a royal commission. But so far there's been silence from both major parties, even as advocates say the suffering continues. Social Affairs correspondent Norman Hermont reports.
Oh, cool. But this one, he just looks like any other kid.
Yeah,
any other kid.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
On the south coast of New South Wales, all they have now of a brother and a son are memories, and some of the possessions so treasured in life.
He brought his bongo drums.
Oh, look, I
cool.
found some of his instruments.
And his bugle.
Michael Hyam lived with low-functioning autism. By all accounts, he was at times a handful, but also a delight.
He was so full of fun and humour. He made a lot of people smile in lots of instances, made a lot of people tear their hair out in instances too.
Michael lived for most of his 45 years in residential care. During his time in group homes, he was sexually assaulted by another resident. His mother, Loris, remembers other incidents when his collarbone was broken and also his foot. It was at this group home near Wollongong where Michael died in 2014.
We miss him dreadfully, especially at Christmas times and Easter bunny times. Different days we used to have special.
His family says the group home failed in its duty of care to stop Michael from harming himself. Despite a gorging compulsion known to staff, he was able to get a hold of a large container of chocolate spread.
And what did he do?
Choked on it, swallowed it, tried to get as much down his throat as he possibly could in the shortest amount of time before he'd be discovered with it.
Michael choked to death. A coronial inquest concluded he died by misadventure. His family also took the case to the New South Wales Ombudsman, and eventually new rules were put in place to ensure food cupboards stay locked to residents. Loris believes most of what happened to Michael in the home was kept from her family.
Anything that was a bit of a bother just didn't happen. We're going to hide this. We don't want to lose our jobs. A lot of stuff was pushed under the carpet. Quite a lot.
In 2014, the ABC's Four Corners program exposed shocking cases of abuse and violence in the disability sector. That was part of the impetus for a Senate inquiry, which found covering up mistreatment and neglect in disability group homes is widespread.
It's a culture, and I despair about it.
People are hidden away. The rest of the community can forget about them. They're out of sight and they are very much out of mind.
Greens Senator Rachel Seward led the inquiry.
Even though you know that it's happening because you've spoken to people already, you can't help be shocked and overwhelmed almost by the extent and the experiences that were outlined to us.
The Senate inquiry recommendations included mandatory reporting rules, a national complaints watchdog, and most importantly, a royal commission.
Get some from there. No. Some nice potato. There it is there.
Potato.
Those recommendations haven't been adopted. Mandatory reporting of incidents in care would especially be welcomed by the Fenton family. Daughter Jo was born with a chromosomal deletion and is intellectually disabled. She lives in a group home called Carinya in Port Macquarie on the mid-north coast of New South Wales.
Let's hold hands and thank God. Jo, will you thank God for us?
Thank you, God, Joanna Fenton.
One night a week, she comes to her parents' house to sleep over.
Amen.
Amen.
Jo's family says there have been unexplained injuries.
She was hopping in the bath and there was a burn mark on her thigh. So then we knew. Yeah, so it wasn't communicated to us by anybody. I don't know that anyone knew, actually.
Pancakes and maple syrup.
Oh, okay, thank you.
The families of 4 of the 5 residents living at Carinya have spoken to 730. They have all expressed concerns over the care provided by the home, including Jenny Wooster. Her son Daniel has also suffered injuries, with no explanation about how they happened.
I feel absolutely disgusted at the moment. Absolutely disgusted.
Daniel lives with cerebral palsy and an intellectual disability. He's also epileptic and suffers seizures. Jenny says she's used to seeing him bruised, but things took a turn for the worse at his last birthday when he turned up with a noticeably chipped tooth.
Did they even know about it before you pointed it out to them?
No. Didn't know about it at all. No, couldn't tell me anything. They don't know how it happened. They thought he might have fell over and bumped himself or whatever.
The New South Wales Department of Family and Community Services says it's working on improvements at Carina, and families are now given regular updates.
The stories from the group home here in Port Macquarie are not unique. When the Ombudsman's office in New South Wales compiled the latest numbers of reported violence and abuse in group homes, the figures went way beyond anything they'd anticipated.
It's the first time the Ombudsman looked at these numbers. In 9 months ending in August last year, 437 incidents were reported from disability group homes. These weren't trivial offenses. 38% were physical abuse, 20% were neglect, 17% were sexual assaults or misconduct. So far, neither main party has addressed the Senate inquiry recommendations in this election campaign.
This is ongoing and it's happening. It'll be happening every day since we handed down our Senate report. There will have been abuse or violence or neglect of a person with a disability around this country because it's ongoing.
For Loris Hyam, those protections will come too late for her son, but not for others.
I'd like to see things happen better for the future. Better strictures, better communication, better staffing, improvement all around.
That report from Norman Hermont.